1. Hey, what's going on, guys? Feel free to check us out at ProSportsExtra.com, Twitter.com/ProSportsExtra, and Facebook.com/ProSportsExtra. Tonight on our YouTube channel, we're going to have a little bit of a debate between Dylan Hargis and Brandon Luthman are on a team going up against me, Trevor Uren, and a little debate between the Houston Rockets and the Charlotte Bobcats. I think that the Charlotte Bobcats are going to be better this season, and them two would think different. I'm sure many of you do, but feel free to leave your comments below on who you think wins this debate. But Dylan, I guess you're going to go first and kind of explain why you think your team is better.
Well, the Houston Rockets have had 4 winning seasons in a row. They almost made the playoffs last year. Kevin Martin's a pretty good guard. I mean, he's probably going to end up leading the team in points, if I had to guess. And then the Bobcats, they're rebuilding sort of, but they're not there yet to beat a team that almost made the playoffs last year.
Brandon, what are your things?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Dylan said. I mean, the Rockets, they attacked in the offseason this year. They tried their best to go after Dwight Howard, but didn't quite get there. They had a couple first-round draft picks, which helped this team, and I could see him playing really well. They have Jeremy Lin, and I mean, I'm not one of those Lin fans who think Jeremy Lin's going to average 20 points, 15 assists a game, and think he's the best point guard in the league. He's nowhere near there. I'll admit, I was caught up in Lin Sandy last year, but I don't think he is anything like that in reality. I could see him being 10.7 assist guy. And I do like some of their, I really do like, especially one of their draft picks, and Royce White. He was a really good player at Iowa State, can play both forward positions. The one weak spot in this offense is probably at center with Amer Azik. I don't know much about Amer Azik, but he averaged 3 points, 5 rebounds a game last year, and only averaged like 13 or 14 minutes a game. So if you're playing 13 or 14 minutes a game and you're averaging those kind of stats, that's decent, but that's not starting material. I don't know how you can go from 13 or 14 minutes a game to playing like 35 minutes a game like starters do. Usually they play even more. And when we look at the Bobcats, you know, it's pretty laughable because they are the Bobcats. I don't like Charlotte. I like Charlotte. I would really like to see Charlotte be a good team, but it's just not going to happen in the near future at all. They have Brendan Haywood starting center, which I do like that. Bismack Biyombo at power forward, but I'd rather have Patrick Peterson, Royce White at that position. Shooting guard, they have Ben Gordon. I would definitely take Kevin Martin, the Rockets starting shooting guard, over him. At small forward, they have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I would take Kidd-Gilchrist over the Rockets starting small forward, which, according to ESPN, is Chandler Parsons, but I think that would be Royce White at the beginning of the season. And Jeffrey Taylor is a backup at that position. And point guard is Ramon Sessions, and backup Kemba Walker. Call me crazy, but I would take Jeremy Lin over Ramon Sessions.
Yeah,
what do you got? Trevor. Sorry.
It's alright. Yes, the Charlotte Bobcats have been proven to be absolutely terrible. But you have to look at who they picked up this offseason. You're bringing in a decent Ben Gordon, Sessions, Brendan Haywood, and you have a rookie, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who I think is going to be a beast on the boards. I think that he is going to do great this season. And like you were saying, that the Rockets are struggling very deeply at center. That's where they're going to show their struggles at the most. You have Omer, who is coming in this season from the Bulls. Like you said, not the best points, but he did only average 13 to 14 minutes a game. It's going to be hard for him to get into a starting flow, as some starters have to worry about going from a bench player to a starter. It's going to be a long time for him to move his way up and get into the 100% atmosphere of a starter. But then you have, on the Bobcats, I think that you're going to have Kemba Walker. He is going to move up into that starting spot. Kemba Walker, he is young. This is his second season in the NBA. I think that he is going to be the player that you guys are going to get wrong about. I think that Jeremy Lin is not going to do anything on this Rockets team. I'll go back to that in a little bit here. But I think that Kemba is decent. I think that this season he is going to improve a lot. I think his assists are going to go up, but it's going to stink because they lost Corey Higgins and some other decent players. But when you're bringing in guys like Sessions, who I think is going to be the sixth man on this team here later on, I think that he is going to be really good, and he's going to help out the team a lot. I also think Bismack Biyombo, I think that he's going to be beast on the board. That's where the Bobcats are a lot better than the Rockets is at center. I have a lot of faith in Bismack Biyombo. Ben Gordon, he is going to provide a great three-point shooter. I think that was a great pickup for them. Besides his huge contract, that's why the Pistons let him go. Then you have Haywood. He is old, been in the league for 11 seasons, I believe, but he is still putting up decent numbers. He is still averaging, 5 points per game, something like that. He was on the Mavericks this past season. I'm glad that they picked him up, and I'm going to go back here to the Jeremy Lin thing. You have Jeremy Lin, who was just a terrible player for Golden State. He was on the Knicks before this, and he was on a few other teams, just terrible. In his first season, he averaged 3 points per game with 10 minutes. About a decent 1 rebound per game. Still had his 1 turnover a game with 1 assist. Then you go into this past season, he comes in off the bench, comes in for 1 game, does great for the Knicks. Comes in as a starter, starts 25 games. Decent 26 minutes a game for him, but his field goal percentage was at about 446 shooting, but his 3-point percentage was absolutely whack. He's averaging like 300% there. So that's just terrible. His free throw percent is at 79. That's pretty good. But his assists, he's at 6 assists with still 4 turnovers. When you're averaging almost the same amount of his turnovers as assists, you know that's where you're going to struggle at the most. That's where I think that Jeremy Lin is going to struggle, the Harvard grad. I think that's where he's going to struggle the most. He is putting up great numbers for a point guard, but his first season in the league, terrible. Second season, pretty overwhelming. I think that this season he is going to drop, and I think that the $30 million contract that the Rockets gave him was a bad idea. Dylan, do you have anything else to add there?
Well, Jeremy Lin, he's not a fantastic point guard. I'll put him average. But one thing he did do last year, and if he does it for the Rockets, it's going to help the Rockets. He's a closer. He made a couple clutch shots that won a couple games. So if he does that for the Rockets will win a couple more games without him. But again, average point guard.
I would like to add, actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, Dylan, but Trevor, you said how he was a terrible player the first year. He didn't play his first year with Golden State.
Well, I believe he did.
He played very minimum. Maybe a minute or two a game.
He played an average of 10 minutes a game.
Whoa, that's a lot.
I mean, he really didn't get much starting time his first season, or starting time at all his first season. And he really did do okay for the Knicks last year. And I think the Rockets are going to end up being happy with Jeremy Lin.
That's the point where I think that everyone here is going to be wrong. I don't think that Jeremy Lin is going to do anything. I think that he is going to back up, be a bench player. I think that he is going to be one of the his first 6 men of the year later on in the season. I think that his 14 points per game is going to drop to about a decent. Maybe he'll stay the same, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the 26 minutes a game for the entire season. I think that's where he's going to start off at, is around 26, maybe up to 30. But I don't think after that. I think that his turnovers are going to catch up to him, and he's going to drop. He's a great shooter. He is fast. He is speedy. He can pass. You have Steve Nash on the Lakers now, he's a great point guard. His turnovers catch up, but his assists keep going up as his turnovers go up. But with Jeremy Lin, that's where it's different. His turnovers catch up to him, and assists start to drop. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Actually, there's one player I think that's on the Rockets that I think is really underrated. I really think that Chandler Parsons is going to have a good year this year. I just think he's underrated terribly for the NBA, and I really think he's going to have a good year this year. He's going to be good for the Rockets.
Why do you say this?
You say.
I've watched a couple of Rocket games last year, and he has really good dunks, and he can get away from the ball. He can steal it every now and then. I think he's gonna have a good season. I think he's underrated.
Yeah, he did average about 10 points a game last season.
Yeah, I did pick up Chandler Parsons on my fantasy team last year, and we made a great run. Just throwing that out there. But I'm not so sure Chandler Parsons will start with the Rockets this year. I mean, I think he'll start the first couple games, first 10 games maybe. But I could see Terrence Jones or Royce White taking that spot. Be a starting small forward. I think Chandler Parsons could be like a 6-man, like six man, come off the bench, score some decent numbers, provide some energy, provide some offense, and make the Rockets a decent playoff contender in the West.
But again, you have to go to their height. They are struggling for the Rockets. They are struggling with their height. Their center position, I don't think their forward position is that great. Besides, you have, like you were saying, Parsons. He can do some stuff. Maybe they can move him to center. Maybe try him there. But I don't think at center. I think the Bobcats have been beat. But in another position, I am very drillful that the Rockets will fulfill is the guard forward combo. With losing Carlos Delfino this season to free agency, maybe they can sign him back. But if they don't, I think that they're going to be missing a key player there. I've been a believer in Carlos Delfino ever since he was a Piston. But he's averaging about 9 points per game, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. So if you can maybe sign him back from the Bucks I believe he was on the Bucks also. So
I think Carlos Delfino is already signed with a different team.
Are you sure? Because I remember seeing some plays yesterday where he wasn't. Maybe he is. Let's go with he is. I think that was a great pickup for the Rockets. But if he's not, they have to re-sign him. Because on the thing I'm looking at, it shows that he is a free agent still. So maybe I am wrong. That is my bad. But I think that he was a great pickup. And I think that Bismack Biyombo for the Rockets, or the Bobcats, Bismack Biyombo, I think that he's going to be a great player. Derrick Brown, they lost him. Matt Carroll, they lost him. Ben Gordon, I think he's going to come in off the bench a little bit, and he's going to do good. Then you have Haywood, I think he's going to do pretty decent. But the guy that I'm looking forward to see is Kid Gilchrist. I think he's going to do great. Sessions, he's going to come in off the bench. Maybe he's going to get a starting role, which I think he might someplace at guard, not point guard, because Kemba Walker's going to come in there. I think Kemba Walker is still a young, tremendous player. He may only be averaging 13 points per game, but he's averaging 4 assists, and he's only averaging one to 2 turnovers a game, and that's where you have to mix him up with Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin's averaging that 4. He's averaging 1. Jeremy Lin's averaging 2 more points. But I would rather have these assists up and the turnovers down than 2 points a game. But I think that's about all that we have here. So feel free to leave your comments below and check out our other YouTube videos with interviews with some professional athletes and everything like that. It can be viewed at ProSportsExtra.com. All your articles, everything like that. And thank you, Brandon and Dylan, for joining us on this quick little debate.
By the way, I like to add that Carlos Trevino is in fact signed with the Rockets.
Alrighty. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Dylan.
Yep. Rockets are better.